Welcome. I'm Janelle Koloski, a career mindset coach and actor.
And I'm Amanda Dubois, a self-authenticity and prosperity life coach and actor as well. And we're your co-host of Mindset Artistry YouTube channel,
where we teach you the art of discovering and using your mindset
to build a career and life you desire.
We'll just jump right in. So today's topic is happiness. And I find it so relevant because I think a lot of people can get distracted by the idea of happiness and making it more real, materialistic than actually internal and really satisfying. So I ran into this beautiful quote and I want to read it to you all and then we'll jump into it. Happiness is a mental habit, a mental attitude. And if it is not learning and practice in the present, it is never experienced. It cannot be made contingent upon solving external problems. When one problem is solved, another problem always appears to take its place. Life is a series of problems. If you are to be happy at all, you must be happy, period. Because happiness is not because of something else. So I love that because it just it brings everything to its purpose of happiness can't be because of something. It has to be within. And as I've gone down this journey of self-healing and life coaching and all these things, I've really had to dig down deep into what makes me happy and not the external world and not thinking about the materialistic world, setting aside my ego, but what truly makes me happy beyond all of that. And it comes down to being authentically myself in everything that I do and finding joy within that. And a part of that comes down to servicing others, servicing myself, and being able to be free in all that I do. So Nelly, when you think about happiness, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think because we were talking about the other day, it's just what you said. I think that, like the quote said, there's always going to be a problem, so it can't be external at all. It always has to come down to you, and it's a choice. You're making the choice. Life is going to happen to you. A lot of it can be negative if it's view it, and it's not going to say bad things don't happen, but we all have to have our perspective. And so you can choose to be happy, but then a lot of that also for me is making strong choices that align with my authentic self and soul as well, because I forget the quote that I'm thinking of, but mostly our thoughts actually cause us more pain than life itself. So what's going on in here, if you don't really control that in your own mind, you can cause yourself to be unhappy. You can worry about the future, get upset about the past, even though you're here in this moment right now. And so you're not happy because you're not living in the moment. And as I always say, no judgment, but it's something that I've learned. And then for me, myself, also trying to look at each day and be like, what do I want and what lights me up? Not what I should do, not what I should want, not what people think lights me up or could. It's really about what makes you happy.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, setting aside expectations from others, from the societal standards, and sometimes from yourself too. Like releasing expectations. For me, happiness is releasing expectations and allowing myself to be present in the moment, like you said. You know, when you're present in the moment, you're not reliving the past. You're not dreaming of the future in the sense of forgetting the present, and you're not appreciating the moment. So to me, when I think of happiness, I think of a soup, right? Preparing a soup. You got all these ingredients that's going to make it delicious and savory and enjoyable. To me, that is what I think about when it comes down to happiness. Happiness is all the ingredients that can lead up to that. So it's not just, short-term satisfaction, which that can be pleasurable in the moment. That can be, buying clothes. It can be a physical attribute, those things. But it's beyond that. It's beyond all those things. And it's, it's appreciating where you are now, being thankful of where you've come from, the past, understanding it, but not living it over and over again like a Twilight Zone episode, and knowing that there is better beyond this moment, and then releasing those expectations, allowing it to just be, and being in that energy of happiness. And happiness, it's a process of discovery. Happiness has to do with, like you said, what makes me happy. And that could be, you know what, I want to take some time today to read a book. You know, happiness can be of service. If you feel, you feel of service for other people, that is what makes you happy, then do it. Forget about what other people think. Forget about the expectations. Forget about what you're supposed to be doing. Just let it go. Because for them, their happiness is totally different from yours. Nelly, when was there a moment in your life when you felt like you understood the word happiness and you've felt that in your life?
Let me think about that one. It just always comes down to doing what I want with my life. So performing on stage, dancing is a big one for me. If I'm dancing, I'm laughing. It is very rare, unless I'm getting frustrated over some choreography and being hard on myself. That makes me happy. Really good food, laughing with friends, even making progress on something that's really intense, like building an acting and life coaching career. So it really just comes down to being you. When I think of any moments that I felt really happy, and anytime being proud of myself for choosing a more positive mindset. And I think those are my examples.
I love that. No, I love that. Again, happiness doesn't necessarily mean one thing, right? And when you think about us as human beings and you just think about our capability, we're not meant to just do one thing. We're meant to do and experience many wonderful and marvelous things. And that's the beauty of happiness, because happiness can change throughout your life. What made you happy yesterday or 5 minutes ago or seconds ago may not necessarily make you happy currently, right? Which is why it's so important to be present in the moment, right? And in being in tune with your mind, body, and soul and spirit, because you have to be able to almost decipher when you're happy, right? And ask the question, is this making me happy, right? Maybe, like I said, reading a book for an hour made me happy yesterday, but today, maybe taking a walk for an hour will make me happier. So it's really allowing the fluidity of happiness to present itself to you. And releasing those expectations and releasing what you think happiness should feel like and look like. Hello, welcome. What happiness should feel like and look like. Happiness is not ideal. Sometimes it's not even tangible. It is literally the feeling. It's the essence of an experience, right? I've jumped out of a plane and I was terrified. First of all, like, someone convinced me, like, oh, let's go for their 21st birthday. And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, great. I'll do it. Blah, blah. And I was terrified. The plane going up, I was terrified. In the plane, you felt everything because it was like one of the smaller planes. And I'm over here tethered to this man behind me. I'm sitting in front of him and I'm terrified. I can hear the wind blowing. And then they opened the door and I was literally shitting my pants. I'm glad I didn't, but figuratively, I was shitting my pants. And then we got to the edge of the door and we jumped out. And at that moment, I released the expectation of what this was going to feel like, and I experienced that jump. It was terrifying, but when I let go, I saw something that I had never experienced before, even saw before, which was peace, which was calm, which was the vastness of this world and the possibilities. And when I decided to look at it that way, I found so much joy in it, so much joy in the experience, so much joy in that present moment, and realizing that I was proud of myself for taking that leap. So if I can give anybody advice when it comes down to happiness, take the leap and discover what it is, because you'll be surprised what is revealed, what is available for you, right? Hey, Nelly, how have you, because we're both life coaches, how have you experienced or help others with their happiness? What would be advice for you to give to somebody about the discovery of happiness?
I think a lot of it has to do with what you were just saying. I agree with that. Life is a balance. It's important to be happy every day that you woke up. It's important to be grateful for your cup of coffee and the apartment you're living in, and if you have a car or any of these things, but also taking the time to accept, because sometimes it's not even about accepting what other people are telling you. Sometimes you have to accept that you have changed, and that can be hard. I have a lot of experiences where certain things made me very happy, certain people, but sometimes you go through things in life and it makes you grow, and then you change what makes you happy. And that's okay. And so many times when working with clients, they aren't happy where they're currently at. And I really think the more I observe them and myself, I think it's because they're caught up in the identity of what made them happy, what should have made them happy, and they're stuck. And that gives me chills, is a big problem. And it's not easy. I'm going through that myself right now, transitioning out of one career into another. And there was a time where I wanted nothing else than to work in fashion. It's a huge dream. My younger self would probably say, "What are you doing? How could you leave that job?" But it doesn't make me happy anymore. But that was my identity for a long time, and still technically is. So I think it's important for you to identify, okay, this doesn't make me happy, but why is it so hard to shake? It might be an identity thing, and that's okay. Identities feel safe. You build up this thing around you. People know you as this. You know you as this. You know you can do this. So if I'm not happy, what's going to make me happy now? Who am I? And this whole thing. And so that's the advice that I would give, or continue to give. You know when you're not happy, and you know whether it's you being cranky, having a bad day, not being grateful, or if you're which is okay, I do that. I should have seen me yesterday trying to move. Or if it's deep inside your soul, you know you're meant to be doing something else, and you're not happy because you are going against who you truly are. And it's differentiating between that and then having the courage to let go of that identity. Sirens.
Holding.
Move on. Yeah.
I love that. I love the idea of and the relationship between identity and happiness, because I can relate there. There's a lot of people who feel like they should be happy because they have, amazing job or an amazing family or whatever, and that's who I am. I'm a mother and all these things, but at the end of the day, that's not all you are, right? And then, like Nell said, change is inevitable. One, you're going to change. That's the great thing about it, is that you're going to change, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be changing and evolving. Literally, our DNA, doesn't it, like our cells change every like 10 or 12 years or something like that, right? It is meant for us to change and embrace what comes of us. And because as you've gotten older, the lessons that you will learn will automatically change who you are, because you'll have experienced something and you will develop a skill, you will learn a lesson, you will experience different people, do a different job. That is a part of your identity, and allowing the space for your identity to just be and release the expectation of, I should be this, or I should be happy because I have that, and fuck that. It has nothing to do with that. And it's true, you know, it's crazy feeling mourning the loss of your old self, but so essential to your growth. Exactly. It is so essential to your growth. I love that because I've for so long have literally, and I encourage anybody to do this. If there is a certain part of yourself that you're not happy with, be appreciative of that, right? Be thankful for it. It is a part of you, but know that you can let it go, right? And what I have done mentally is literally kind of killed my own old version of myself. I let it go. I buried it. I had a funeral for it mentally. You know, I wrote it down. I was like, well, you know, it's been wonderful. You've done great things for me. You've helped me through this. And you can write it all down. My suggestion is writing that down, writing down the gratitude and the experiences you've had with that version of yourself, right? And then realizing and saying thank you and then letting go and going, you know what? I thank you so much for being here for me, but it's time for me to let you go. You've done your job, right? You've done it. Now it's time for you to rest because my rebirth is on its way. And when I've done that and, like, you know, mentally and, you know, like writing it down, I've realized there was so much gratitude in that experience and who I was and the growth, because I wouldn't be here right now without those experiences, without that feeling. And happiness can be gradual. It's sometimes the thing, you know, you're not going to be happy 24/7. And if anybody tells you that, that's BS. That's full on bullshit. Full on bullshit. But you can be grateful. And by being grateful for the littlest things in your life, you will start experiencing and allowing space for happiness to exist. So, you know, like Nell said, you woke up today. That is a beautiful thing. Just think about all the people who just didn't wake up today, who didn't have another day of their lives. That is amazing. You're here, right? That is something to be happy about. And with that, your story isn't over. There's so many things to be doing and that you could do and experience. And with happiness, you know, I've learned again that the littlest things. So a cup of coffee, drinking a cup of coffee today. I am so excited. Drinking a cup of coffee. Thank you for this. I'm so grateful. And when you do that, you're also shifting your mindset. You're allowing your mindset to be aligned with that energetic level of happiness. And when you do that, you'll start receiving more happiness around you and happiness from people. And then you'll start exuding that. And people were like, oh, there's something different about you. Yeah, because I'm happy. I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with being here today. And I would say, you know, set an intention. My thing is I set intentions daily. And what I mean by setting intentions is I intend to be happy. I intend to let go and just experience what the situation for what it is. And you end up releasing expectations. You're not saying like, I'm going to have fun. No, it's not about that. It's I'm going to release expectations and have fun today so that I can just be who I am unapologetically. The former self allowed you to survive now. It's time for you to transform into your authentic, peaceful self. Absolutely. Absolutely. We all deserve peace. Peace is accomplishable. Peace is a part of who you are. And when you start realizing that and knowing that it's necessary for your happiness, you will evolve. You know, there's a sense of appreciation of the self.
Yes, and I agree with that we're all on our own soul journey, karmic journey, and everything from your past teaches you the thing for the next level. And so, as you were saying, what I learned from what I was happy with before is helping me now. And it's only helping me become more authentic, which I think is the ultimate goal. I think every person out there is beautiful. You have this gorgeous soul that you came into the world with, and a lot happens on here while we're alive, but we all have something to offer. I really do believe that. And so what happens is, and I'm guilty of this, is we focus too much on other people and what makes other people happy instead of just looking inside and figuring that out and being authentic. And then there's just all these unhappy people walking around because they're trying to chase everybody else's happiness. And I'm guilty of that too. You're like, oh, well, that's happiness over there. But when you start being yourself, then you find it for you, and that's the ultimate happiness. So I love that. You just keep learning, and Amanda knows I'm always like, oh, but can I just get all the lessons out of the way? And we like Abraham Hicks, because Abraham Hicks says, well, then you would just be dead, You don't want everything you're going to eat in life in one sitting. It's impossible. So the goal is really to, yes, be grateful, find that balance, and then learn what your unhappiness can teach you. It tells you a lot about yourself. I remember somebody saying, well, what are you chasing after? Or what are you running from? It's always chasing or running. And sometimes it's the case, but sometimes if something isn't making you happy, okay. I do believe putting in work and taking the moment to try it out in a real way, but there's a balance there, maybe 6 months to a year versus 5 years of beating your head against the wall, maybe, So I think that's, it's always a balance. You're not going to be happy and joyful every single day. Like, that would be weird. You would be lying. Lies.
Lies you tell the world, the lies. Well, as far as struggle, as I see the struggle of comparison with happiness, and I can understand that 100%. And my advice for that is you have to go back to yourself and stop, like Nell said, stop looking outward on what other people are chasing, other people's happiness and what their version of happiness. Because the truth of the matter is, you don't even know if they're happy or not. You really don't know. You're assuming that they're happy, right? And you know what assume means is making an ass out of you and me, right? And you break it down, but you're assuming that they're happy, but you don't know necessarily if they are. So for my advice for comparison is get back to yourself. Get back to your wants and your needs and your desires and your aspirations and your goals and your healing. Go back to yourself. When you are grounded and rooted in who you are, no one can compare to you. No matter how many riches they have or how little they have, they will never compare to you, because we're all individuals. We're all authentic. We're all deserving of happiness. Remind yourself that you deserve happiness in every which way that is possible, and allow that space to be. And I honestly believe that when you start believing that you deserve it, you will start receiving it. But it takes time. Give yourself time. Look yourself in the mirror every day. I've done this so many times, and it sounds like superficial, whatever. No, I look myself in the mirror every day with no makeup, my hair all crazy, and I tell myself what I love about myself. I love my lips, my nose, my eyes. I love that my body keeps me strong. I love that, I woke up today. I love that my ears are nice and get soft, and like just little things. Start admiring who you are. Start admiring how amazing you are inside and out. And that will alleviate the stress and this sense of competition with others. And I truly believe that, unfortunately, our society pits women against each other, and that's very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. They make you seem like there's not enough space for you to succeed and for them to succeed. No, there's enough space for all of us to succeed and get what we want. Absolutely. Because we all deserve it, but there is space. But in order for that space to exist and allow you to be there, you have to be comfortable. You have to love yourself unconditionally. You have to love the dark sides of yourself, the shadows, the mistakes, the rejections, all the lessons you've learned. You have to love all of that about yourself, and then you'll be able to make space for being in the present and for what's to come, right? And say one beautiful thing about yourself every day. My thing is, for me, happiness has to do with celebrating myself. I don't think it's very often that we celebrate ourselves. We celebrate the wins. We celebrate the big things. But do you celebrate who you are? I celebrate. So celebrate who you are and everything that you've done. The littlest things today. You know, I took a walk to the store. That is great. You did that. You know, just celebrating that. I had a good sleep last night. Let me tell you, I slept so heavy, and, you know, all these things. Like, celebrate. Remind yourself to celebrate who you are and what you've done and how long, and how much you've accomplished in this moment, because that's what matters. Everyone else doesn't. Think of it this way. Everybody's a character in your story. They're not the main person. You are. You are the main person. That sounds superficial and that, you know, very egotistical, whatever. And like, oh, you know, then it becomes to the point where it's all about us. But it doesn't have to be that way. But when you start allowing yourself to shine, to appreciate that, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it all comes down to a balance, like anything. Sometimes I'll say positive things about myself. Amanda's much better at this. She wakes up in the morning, talking about how divine she is, because she is. And then I wake up, I'm like, oh, it's a new day. Oh, wow. I'm like running around trying to find coffee. I'm like, where am I? It's okay. I thought by 30 I'd have it together. We're doing it. Anyway, all that to say, it's a balance. And yes, speak positively of yourself, but remain humble. I think you can do both. I think on the few occasions I've said something nice about myself, people around me, oh, wow, so humble. Well, yeah, you can be humble and speak positively about yourself. You can say, I'm good at this, you know. So I just want to encourage people to do that, because you're going to have other unhappy people try to take away from the balance of your life. You have control over that, and that's your responsibility to take space from those people. But just know, if you're saying something good about yourself and somebody can't give you that space, they probably shouldn't be there. But then also make sure you're keeping yourself in check, that you're still being kind, you are being humble, you're looking at what you can work on, what you can do better. Same thing. Find yourself complaining a lot, maybe a little more gratitude. But then maybe also you're going through it and maybe you need to journal it out or heal something, and maybe you need to make a big change. And so it's not a bumper sticker on a car. It's not the perfect quote. It's none of this. It's finding your balance, your flow that aligns with you. It's so important, because then you're still being fake. So then you're happier, but if you're too happy and ignoring feelings, then you're being fake. And then if you're walking around upset all the time because you're not pursuing your authenticity and what you truly want for yourself, you're also being a fake. So it's constantly finding the balance. And that's coming from a girl that is very extreme. I did Alexander technique the other day, and the teacher's like, I'm going to move your leg, don't help me. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. Because normally I'd be like, wham! Like, I would just help someone move my leg because I don't want to let go of control. So as always, no judgment. But coming from a person that's extreme many times, and I'm working on it, you will find the balance, and that will bring you happiness, taking the people out of your life that don't belong there, taking the jobs out of your life, the situations, the mindset. It's going to change everything for you.
Yeah, I love that. I love the reminder of just take control. Take control of it, because at the end of the day, that's what you have. You can control yourself. You can't control any external person or experiences. You just can't. So the one thing that you can do is control who you are. And there is a balance. There is a balance. You're not going to be happy every single day, every minute of the hour. That's just, it's impossible. And understanding that balance and embracing it and letting it just kind of flow, you again releasing those expectations. Just be, and know that there will be difficult days. That's inevitable. There will be difficult days. There will be days, like Nell said, I have days where I wake up and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not really feeling it today. and I have to prep myself up, and it takes me a while sometimes, and whatever I need. But then that makes me pay attention to what my body, my mind, and soul needs, because that may mean that like that day I need to work out a little extra, or I need to not work out at all. Maybe just take a bath in the morning instead of a shower. That's really just kind of staying in tune with what you need in the moment to get past this space. And then also, we constantly talk about the like 5-second rule, allow, well, like 5 seconds, not really, but like the 10-minute rule, 15-minute rule, 20-minute rule. Allow 20 minutes for whatever that negative feeling is. Allow that space. Just let it be. You want to scream, you want to curse, blah, 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 write it out. Never not towards anybody else, but just, we don't encourage harming others. Never harming others nor yourself. Just letting it be and then letting it go. Experience it.
What are your thoughts about this episode?
Drop it in the comments and let us know what you want to dive into next.
Subscribe, like, share, and click the link below to book a free consultation. And
we'll see you next time.